Hello world, Shelly here, and I'm coming at you with two different eye looks on my face because I'm going to show you how I got both of them. What palette, you ask? It is the collaboration between PUR and RawBeautyKristi. I am going to use the colorful side of the palette, but as you may have seen, it also has a neutral side. You might have seen on Instagram and you're like, Shelly, how did you get that palette? I thought you couldn't get it. You are correct. That is 9 hours of my life I will never get back. I could not get the palette. I had a disastrous time on launch day, as many people did, but not one, but two of you sent me this palette. I did not ask if you wanted your names to be said out loud to the public, so we will just call you P and K. But P and K, thank you so much. I am not worthy. You are too kind, and that has allowed me to review it. So I'll give you my little launch day story. I got up early. For me, it's early because I am a total second shifter in my sleep patterns now, and was ready for the launch. Waited, tried. 5 hours worth of not being able to process my order. The site was crashing, couldn't get through the shopping cart. It kept erasing my cart. And at the 5-hour mark, they implemented a queue where they would let a certain number of people access the website at a time. The rest of you would be waiting in line. And okay, so I was like 3,000th in line, which was actually pretty good. And I waited 2 more hours for that line to pass. And no, it was actually 3 hours because we were approaching the 8-hour mark by the time I got into that. And so the 3,000 people got through, got on the website, shopping cart loaded, filled it up, got ready to check out. Checkout wouldn't happen. The checkout payment processing was still overloaded and my order would not go through. At that point, they were only allowing you on the website for 10 minutes. And so at the end of my 10 minutes, I kept trying over and over. It didn't work. I got kicked out, and then I was 28,896th in line. Needless to say, I went to bed and did not get the palette. A few days later, well, so that night actually, before I went to bed, I was pissed. I wasted a whole day on it, but I decided that Kristi loves animals. She drew all the artwork on here. That's her kitty, one of her kitties. She has her other kitty on here too, yeah. And so I decided to donate the money I would have spent to Cat's Cradle, which is a no-kill shelter and rescue where I got Ziva from. So I donated the money in Kristi's honor to Cat's Cradle, and I went to bed. A couple days later, they did the pre-order, relaunch, and I wasn't bitter enough to not try it. So I tried it. I did order a palette and the lashes. From what I've seen on YouTube, they're going to be way too dramatic for me, but I ordered them anyway, and it's not shipping until September. The ship dates are August 31st through September 17th. If you're at the tail end of that, you're not getting your palettes till October. That's ridiculous. I'm so disappointed that Kristi's launch was terrible. It's not her fault. She was the only one communicating with anybody. PUR kept their mouths shut and just was useless throughout the whole thing. Shame on them for miscalculating the impact that Kristi would have. You can see how many followers she has. I don't know. I'm not going to go on a rant. I've already ranted too much. Very disappointed in how PUR handled the whole thing. Very proud of Kristi and excited for her and happy for her that this has all come to be the baby, everything. She's got so many good things happening right now. So I'm going to give you guys 2 eye looks from this palette using the colorful side. Let you see them a little side by side on their own. So that is the plan. If you would like to see how I got both of these eye looks, keep on watching. So the first firework photo that I would like to sort of emulate in my color scheme came out really interesting, I thought. It's kind of a little bit of purple, a little bit of, we're orange going into pink kind of a tone going on, and then green. And that would not be a color combo that I would think about putting together, but they look really pretty in the fireworks. So that's what I'm gonna do. I also recently saw, oh, now I can't remember who posted it on Instagram. It was a look that had, where you take liner and do just kind of a graphic swoop. That's the dangerous part of this look on puffy, droopy lids like mine, but we're just gonna go there. We're gonna try it. This one's gonna be a little bit sort of traditional in the way that I normally do my eyeshadow, in terms of like starting with a transition shade and working my way down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start with the tiniest bit of dandelion. I just want this to be just the littlest bit of transition above my crease toward my brow bone, and I kind of want to use this to sort of define the shape. Both of these looks I'm going to have slightly winged out, and because I have sort of puffy, droopy outer corners of my lids, I need to kind of get that shape drawn before anything else, because it's not the natural shape of my crease. So I like to be able to kind of see it as I go. These shadows, I did my base first for this video because when I was playing around with these shadows, I had literally no fallout. So we'll see if I remain that degree of lucky. I'm just using the tiniest bit of color. This is the Wangos 03, and like I'm just booping the edge of the brush into the color so that I'm not getting too much pigment. This color can go deeper if you want to build it up, but I just want it really light. Really light. I am going to take this look all the way to my inner corner. So that's also a little bit dangerous on my eye shape. But you know, I'm going to invoke the words of the great Bailey Sarian. It's just makeup. It washes off. If we make a big old disaster tonight, no big. Alright. That's pretty much the shape I'm going for. Now, one thing I have found with this palette, these mattes, you can combine them to make new colors very easily. They definitely do blend. That makes it a little bit harder to layer colors, but if you pack a color over, then you'll get that color. If you blend them together, you'll get a blend. So that is really interesting to me. Now, there is a pink in this palette, the shade Side Effect, but I think I want almost more of a magenta, so I'm going to take Flavor Town, the red color, and Tribute, the purple, and just dip back and forth in these two pans and kind of build my own magenta. And this is going to be sort of crease transition. You see how it's magenta? It's just really kind of wild. I don't know if that's because this is a pressed pigment palette as opposed to an eyeshadow palette. The pigments are a lot more loosely pressed, so you do get some kickback in the pan, but that's really only if you press, you know, firmly into the pan. If you go softly into the pan, you're not going to have trouble with it. But I don't know, maybe the softness of the shadows is what helps make it so easy to mix colors. But it's really easy to mix colors. Alright, I'm gonna try and give myself just a little wing out here. I'm gonna take what's left and just blend it up into that yellow. I'm going to continue and fill in this outer corner. I am going to be connecting this winged sort of area to my lower lash line. But let's just start here and get the sort of shape down. And I'm going to take just a little bit more and make sure I've got the inner corner. And take my Sigma E25 and we're going to purple this up a bit. I'm going to go straight into Tribute, the purple color. This purple is the only shade that I've had some trouble with. If you blend it out, it just gets on the first train to Patchy Town. It is not a blendable shade. However, you can pack it on and it'll keep its color. So you kind of just have to keep that in mind. Where you normally wouldn't be packing into the crease, you kind of got to take that route with this purple. It's fine, it works. But be aware, because as soon as you start blending, it's just gonna wash away and it gets a bit patchy. It's a very pretty shade. You know, for being a sort of this side of the palette being all brights, it's really well curated undertones of the brights. They all work together very nicely. So now I'm going to kind of just look straight on in my mirror, which I have to look over here, but I'll look straight on to you guys first so you can see what I'm talking about. And I just want to make sure, do you see where if my eyes are rested, the hood of my lid droops and you kind of lose the purple arch there? I just want to make sure that we're not going to lose that. So I'm going to get a little bit of purple and looking straight on, I want to make sure that this goes high enough that I can see it. And I'm going to do my little magenta trick again to blend above. Because I want to be able to see that shape when I'm looking straight on. So I'm going to take an alter ego, it's brush number 8, and I'm going to wiggle some purple right at my lash line. I'm going to take that about, halfway-ish. I'm going to connect it to that wing shape. And when you've got a sort of droopy outer corner like I do, you almost have to just take that color in there and fill in the gaps. Because you see how deep my crease comes down past the edge of my eye, so I just have to fill it in and disguise it. Then I'll do the magenta trick for the rest of the lash line. This is a Smith 253. I'm going to go into Garden State, and I just touched once into the pan. It picks up a ton of shadow. So tap it off if you got too much. And I'm going to go into the center of my lid. I'm going to pack it on to hopefully avoid fallout. I'm going to take it up to my crease in the very center. And then with whatever's left on the brush, just kind of tap it over the edges of the purple. Now, Cafe Disco is the glitter shade in here, and I've seen people use it. It's beautiful on its own, but I'm actually going to use it as like a glitter topper. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my, look at that color. I'm going to take a little on my finger and just barely tap it over that green to give just a little dimension, because I find that on crepey lids, it can be difficult to pull off a fully matte look because the matte shadows tend to accentuate the crepiness. Oh, but look how pretty that is. You don't really want to swipe it because then you're going to move around the colors underneath, but just keep tapping it on until you got the look you want. It also lightens it up a little bit, which I like. It makes it a little bit more green. And I think that's freaking beautiful. All right, Wayne Goss 20. I'm just gonna go back in with a little tiny bit of yellow and bring back just a little bit on that blend at the top. Ah, what the heck, let's take a little underneath. This is the shade Dandelion. So let's do that little graphic line. I have, this brush is from Aesthetica and it's a liner brush. It's like a super, super, super fine tipped brush for liquid liner or, you know, cream liners. I'm going to use it to put down a graphic line of concealer, and then I'm going to put some glitter over that. Waterline and mascara, be right back. This is the new Dark Star mascara from Pat McGrath, and for the lip I went with the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in Divine Rose. Alright, finished look number 1. This second look is a little bit more simple. The color scheme is basically night sky, like blue and purple, with the colors of like orangish, magenta, yellow, a little bit sunrise in the middle. So the thing that makes this one dangerous is, number 1, I'm using blue, always dangerous. And number 2, I'm going to sort of dramatically sketch out the outline of the blue wing to start the look. This one is gonna have a little bit harder lines of demarcation between the colors. It's not gonna be as blended of a look. I want it to be a little bit more of a harsh look. There is a cat hair that I cannot find. So I'm gonna take my Wayne Goss 20. I'm gonna do this the opposite of normal. I'm gonna kind of like sketch the shape before I blend anything, so it's gonna look a little scary to begin with. I'm gonna go into Hurtful, the blue shade, just taking a little dab, and I'm gonna sketch out a little bit of a wing, get the shape going. I want that sort of like comet-shaped teardrop kind of a thing going on, and again, I have to fake it because this droop of my hood makes that not a natural shape for my eye, which is why I'm going to draw it in first. You kind of got to keep your eye relaxed when you draw it in, because otherwise it's going to droop when you put your eyes back down. My goal here is to match up with the outer corner because it's going to connect to my lower lash line. And you see how if I lift my brows, it's all gappy. That's fine. We're gonna fix that later. You just want it to be correct now when your eyes are relaxed. And you see how I'm kind of connecting it to the natural sort of crease of my inner part of my eye? That is the goal. When your eye's relaxed, you want that to be where it goes. Now, of course, the edges are not blended right now. And of course, if I lift my brows, it's a weird shape, but you want the shape correct at a relaxed state. So now I'm just going to blend what's left inward. And I'm going to kind of blend the edges just a little bit. We're going to come back and fix that in a minute. Now I'm going to lift my brows to blend. That sort of tightens the skin so I can soften the edges there, because the crepiness kind of makes it jagged. So then when you stretch it, it's not jagged. Now I'm going to go into the purple shade Tribute, because that blue is just kind of like a little halo to what I really want to be deep purple. So I'm going to pack it on. And remember, you kind of have to pack this and not blend it so much. And this purple is going into my crease. And then it's going to come all the way down. And this is kind of where it takes over from the blue. Blend to get your shape, but then you're gonna have to pack on color if you want it to show up deep. Now I'm just gonna pack some more on. I'm gonna wipe my brush off so there's really not much product on it. And now I'm gonna try and blend the edge of the purple into the blue. Just little tiny circles. Keep on packing. I'm going to get my inner corner. This is going to be sort of a halo eye kind of a deal. Same brush, wiped it off. I'm going to go into Flavor Town, the red shade, and put that next inside where the purple was. So we're kind of just filling in the rest of this lid. Well, not the rest of it. We're gonna get lighter and lighter and lighter. And we kind of do want to layer a little bit. So I'm putting the red down on its own and then layering a little over the purple to turn it into magenta. So we have, it almost goes from purple to magenta to red. That is one thing I do really like about these shadows. The red doesn't have quite as much of the problem as the purple in terms of blending patchy, but you still do have to pack it on quite a bit to get the opacity. But this red is a beautiful red. It is one of the nicest reds that I've ever seen. I'm going to go a little into the purple. We're just gonna try and make that little bit magenta. Wiping off the brush. I'm gonna go just into Am I Orange a little bit and get the edge of the red. Just a little bit of orange. And now I'm gonna switch brushes to my Smith 253, it's just a flat shader brush, and go into Dandelion, the yellow shade. And that goes in the middle. I'm not gonna take it all the way up to my crease because I kind of want that sunset sort of thing going on. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. For my lower lash line, I'm going to take my Wengas 05 and back into Tribute, the purple shade. And we're gonna connect this with the outer corner. And I'm gonna take it maybe a third of the way in. Again, you gotta press it and pack it because as soon as you try and blend, it gets patchy. Then I'm gonna do the magenta trick with the red and purple. I'm gonna continue on my lower lash line, but I'm gonna keep it down a bit because I wanna put some yellow in there. I'm gonna go in with a tiny bit of the pink side effect and hit the inner portion of my lower lash line. Wipe the brush off, go back into the Dandelion yellow and pack it right on that little spot that I left. It's kind of mirroring what's happening above. Last step. Go get my Wengas 20, wipe it off, make sure there's nothing on it, and I'm just going to blend a little bit of the edges. Just a tiny bit. Got a little bit of pink. I'm gonna brush it off again. I'm gonna dab into the white shade Lumos. Get the high point of my brow. And then with what's left, I'm just going to blend the top of the blue. One more little pack with purple Tribute because it kind of lost some of its intensity in the outer corner. A little more in the crease just to define that shape. And some Cafe Disco on the inner corner. Here you have both finished looks. I'm very happy with how they turned out. I love them both. What do I think of the palette? I love the size. I love Kristi's artwork. I love Kristi's color collection, the curation of shades that she has accomplished. You know, I love the duality of it. I love that there's a mirror on both sides. I think it would be easy to travel with. PUR isn't my favorite formula. I think some of the shades, especially the ones I gravitate toward, which are purples, a little tricky to work with. little bit more work than some other shadows brands that I prefer. Would I recommend you get it? If you love Kristi, yeah, it's a beautiful collection of shadows. I'm so happy for her. She's one of the first beauty YouTubers that I ever started watching, and I haven't been on beauty YouTube all that long, like 5-6 years-ish, but I've enjoyed her content so much, and I'm so happy for her with all the good things that are happening in her life right now. And so, yeah, if you want to support her, if you want a very fun palette, yeah, I'd say go ahead. I'm probably not going to continue buying PUR shadows unless Kristi's name is attached to them. I will continue. Love Your Selfie is just a miraculous foundation for my skin. My skin loves it, but that's kind of where I land on this one. I'm glad to be able to support Kristi, and I'm very happy for her, and I think she did an amazing job with all of the parts of the collaboration that were within her control. I am really disappointed with how PUR handled the launch, but it is what it is. So there you have it, my take on the colorful side of the RawBeautyKristi collab with PUR. Would you like to see me do something with the neutral side? I'm not anywhere near a neutral person, so I'm pretty boring when it comes to neutral eye looks, but if you would like to see me use that side, let me know down in the comments below. As always, thanks a lot for taking a whole lot of time to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for new videos. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.